All right, let's get right into it. We've all played around with these incredibly powerful AI models, right? But what if you could take that general-purpose brain and turn it into a specialist, an expert that knows your business inside and out? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
I mean, it's the big question, isn't it? You try asking a chatbot about your latest project, and it just gives you a blank stare. The reason is actually pretty simple. These incredible models are trained on the public internet, all of Wikipedia, books, articles, but not on your private, internal stuff.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got all the stuff a general AI is great at. History, poetry, random facts. But on the right, that's the wall it hits. It has no clue about your marketing plan, your product designs, or what your team is up to. And that is the knowledge gap we have to close to make AI truly useful for us.
So how do we fix this? Do we have to retrain these gigantic models from the ground up? Nope. There's a much smarter way. We can give the AI an open book exam. And the technical name for this awesome technique is Retrieval Augmented Generation, or just RAG for short.
Okay, so here's the key. RAG doesn't actually change the AI model. Not at all. It just adds a step to the process. Before the AI even tries to answer your question, the system goes and retrieves the relevant facts from your data and then feeds it to the model as context. It's that simple.
I love this analogy because it just makes so much sense. Think of the AI as this brilliant world-class expert. But instead of trying to make it memorize every single document in your company, you just hand it the right textbook, your data, right when it's taking the test. It's just a smarter, faster, and way more efficient way to work.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Building one of these RAG systems sounds complicated. And, it can be. But that's where tools come in to make it a whole lot easier. So let's take a look at one of these solutions. Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases.
And that's the whole point, right? To hide all the messy, complicated stuff. If you were doing this yourself, you'd be trying to glue together a bunch of different services for getting the data in, converting it, storing it. It's a lot. A managed service like this handles that whole pipeline for you. It does all the heavy lifting.
And the payoffs are huge. The answers you get are way more accurate because they're coming from your own documents. You get citations, which is critical so you can actually trust the answers and check the source. It hooks right into your live data. And maybe the biggest one, it's so much cheaper than constantly retraining a massive AI model.
Okay, so how does this magic actually happen under the hood? It's really a two-part process. Let's start with part one, ingestion. This is all about getting your data into the system and ready to be searched.
So first, you just point the system to your documents. Could be PDFs, web pages, Word docs, whatever. The system automatically breaks those big documents down into smaller, bite-sized chunks. Then comes the really cool part. Each one of those chunks gets turned into a special string of numbers called a vector embedding, and all those numbers get stored in a special kind of database.
So what on earth is a vector embedding? You can think of it like a set of coordinates on a giant map of ideas. Text that means similar things get placed really close to each other on the map. This is what lets the computer understand semantic similarity. It's not just matching keywords, it's matching the actual meaning.
And here you can see what it actually looks like. You've got a normal sentence of text, and it gets converted into this long list of numbers. That's the vector. That string of numbers somehow captures the very essence of that sentence in a way a computer can understand and compare. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so we've fed our data into the system and turned it all into these searchable vectors. Now for part two, retrieval. This is what happens the instant you ask a question.
So when you ask a question, the system does the exact same thing to your question. It turns it into a vector. Then, it zips over to the vector database and looks for the text chunks that have the most similar vectors, the ones that are closest on that map of meaning. And finally, it grabs those relevant chunks, hands them over to the AI model with your original question, and says, here's all the context you need to give a great, fact-based answer.
Now, this is way more than just a simple question and answer bot. The real power here comes from all the knobs you can turn and the advanced features you can use to really tailor this thing to exactly what you need.
Just look at this stuff. It can pull information directly from charts and tables inside your PDFs. It can even write its own SQL code to query your structured databases. And it uses other smart models to re-rank the search results to make sure the absolute best information comes to the top. It's a super versatile system for pretty much any kind of data you can throw at it.
You even get control over the nitty-gritty details, like chunking. On the one hand, you've got the simple approach, fixed-size chunking. That's kind of like taking a ruler and just chopping up your text into equal pieces. But then you have a much smarter way, semantic chunking, which actually understands the text and breaks it apart based on ideas, keeping related thoughts together. And that can make a huge difference in the quality of your results.
So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big deal here? Why is this kind of technology such a game changer? Well, it's really about fundamentally changing how AI interacts with your private world.
At the end of the day, it's about making a shift from a generalist AI that knows a little bit about everything to a true specialist that has deep, trusted expertise in your business. It's an AI that's finally working with your knowledge, not just public knowledge.
And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head when it comes to the business value. It's all about speed and money. You can get AI power tools out to your teams faster, and you do it without the insane cost and time it takes to constantly retrain a giant model from scratch.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. Forget for a minute about what a generic AI can do. Instead, just ask yourself, what kind of problems could you solve if you had an AI that was an expert on your data, your projects, and your company? What new doors would that open up?